nice, so nice.
I'm Yvette Thomas-Henry. I'm the General Manager at Four Seasons Atlanta. You know, I think back to my time in St. Croix and growing up there, and quite honestly, I still think I had the best childhood ever. My mom was a single mom, and she raised 5 kids while being a single mom, while working hard, while going to school to get her first to complete her high school degree, and then to get her degree, her bachelor's degree in teaching. So I always had a really good foundation in what hard work looked like, because I just looked at my mom and saw what she was doing and just knew that she was doing it for us. And so for me, it was my responsibility to, and I didn't view it as a responsibility then, it was like, just don't give her a hard time. Don't make her show up to school if she didn't have to. But she also allowed us to have fun. She allowed us to have fun. I met some really, really good teachers. And you know what? I didn't even realize that having good teachers as role models and having good teachers as people who were interested in me and cared about me was important until I became an adult. But I will tell you, having Cheryl Soto in my life, having William Howell in my life, having those individuals who showed us, you know, Ken Moorhead, Ken Cassius, all these individuals were teachers who came into my life at a point when I was ready to receive their guidance, and they were able to make a huge influence on me and who I am and what I became, and the student that I was and the adult that I became. By the time I got to junior high school, I got into band, into music. My mom insisted that we would all learn to play instruments. And of course, we're looking at my mom like, what do you mean learn to play an instrument for what? But that's what started it. So I joined the band when I was in junior high school and became the band president during that time. So started my first leadership role that I didn't even know was leadership back then. I went to St. Croix Central High School, and it was a school where you really had the opportunity to get involved with a lot of things. And whether it be engineering, which my husband, who actually was also from Central High, he got into the engineering program there, and he is an engineer now today. But I also stayed very much involved with band, and that helped me get a partial music scholarship when I went to college. When I left St. Croix, when I graduated high school, I got a scholarship to Worcester College. And my scholarship, as I said, was partially for music, so I was in the marching band there. But I also knew I thought I wanted to major in speech language pathology. So that's what I was studying. And after being at Worcester High for 2 years, I left there and went to New York, only because it was a much richer cultural experience in New York. I just felt that that's where I needed to be. So I left Worcester, went to New York, and it was probably the catalyst in where I'm at now, because after being in New York for probably several months, maybe just less than a year, one day I was walking by the Plaza Hotel, and in walking by the Plaza Hotel, they had an open interview for hiring individuals at the front desk in different areas of the hotel operation. And I decided, well, it's famous, it's a beautiful place, I'm gonna go work there because I wanna meet famous people. So I walked in the door, interviewed, and a week later got hired, and stepped into a world that completely, where I was just expecting to meet famous people, I wasn't expecting to find my life's passion, and found that instead. I think the light bulb moment for me started pretty early when I was at the Plaza, probably a year into being there. I was invited to be a part of the training team, which means my responsibility was to train any of the new individuals joining us at the front office. That included managers. And I got so good at it that they put me into the training supervisor's role and allowed me to run shifts, allowed me to actually be in charge of running the operation over certain shifts. After doing that, I said, oh my gosh, I'm in charge. I'm the person that they come to when they have questions. I'm the person that the guest sees when they have a concern. I can do this. And not only can I do it, I can do it well, and I enjoy it. So that was the moment when I decided, you know what, let me take this seriously. It's no longer not just a job so I could help pay part of my tuition at school. It was something that I figured could take me further, and it certainly has. From the Plaza Hotel, the next step was to work actually for an independent company. And that company, it was then the Delmonica Hotel, and it's now changed to, I think it's a condo residence in New York. That was my first role officially where I was running an operation and had several different managers reporting to me. So in that role, I realized that there is more to running an operation than just simply the tasks. You are responsible for a team. You are responsible for communicating, getting information, giving feedback, putting all of that together. From the Delmonica, I went on to work for Lowe's Hotels and worked for Lowe's for several years. At Lowe's is when I became my first department head role, where I was in charge. I became the director of housekeeping and had 150 people on my team and worked there for probably about 5 years. I left there and went to the Waldorf Astoria. Now, the Waldorf Astoria I would call the PhD experience in my hospitality career. And in that role, being the executive housekeeper, I had 500 individuals on my team reporting to me. Now, that's massive. That's more individuals than I have working in the hotel here at Four Seasons Atlanta. But it was also a pivotal point in not only just understanding about growing people and setting a mission and setting a vision, it was also at that point that I learned about managing the business. That became the point of where the two dots met for me, and I understood that not only was I responsible for taking care of people and taking care of their needs and taking care of guests and managing employee expectation, but also managing a business so that we saw profitability. So that was remarkable for me. From there, I got promoted to resident manager, opening a Conrad Hotel in Miami. And if anyone has ever done an opening, you know it takes everything out of you. It is demanding, it is grueling, it is exciting. You get to put your stamp on something from the ground up, and that was absolutely, that's still one of the best moments in my career, doing something like that. And when that first guest walks in, you're able to say, I created this for you. At that point, I decided that I wanted to work with the more high end of the luxury industry, so I decided to join Ritz-Carlton. So I moved from Miami, went to Boston and worked with Ritz-Carlton and enjoyed that. And after being there for a year and a half, got a call from Four Seasons. And that's when I decided to move back to New York. Now, in the midst of all of this, I'm married. My husband and me, we have 2 children. He's West Indian as well. Nothing like telling your husband, by the way, we're moving from here to there to there to there. Most West Indian men will not do that. I will tell you, I have a remarkable husband. His name is Thomas, and Thomas and me now have been married 23 years, and we've known each other since I was 14 years old. So a lot of history, a lot of love, a lot of respect. I can tell you that he is probably one of the single most reasons that I am as successful and have been able to do this, because he's been in my corner. From the moment I joined Four Seasons, I started in New York and got promoted to hotel manager and moved to Washington, D.C. And from there went back to New York as the hotel manager there. By the way, I was the first female hotel manager at Four Seasons New York. They needed one. And then I got promoted to general manager of Four Seasons Atlanta after running Four Seasons New York as acting general manager for 8 months. Then I got promoted to the role here as general manager in Atlanta. The reason I stayed with Four Seasons is because I think after you grow your career for a certain amount of time, you want to feel that you are with some place that gets you and you can relate to the culture. The one thing that I really truly connected to with Four Seasons is the culture. This belief that people are first, that people are important, that people are central to your success, and that employees are equally important as customers. And so that really resonated with me. I also love the fact that there's a commitment to growth. You don't find general managers at Four Seasons who have not been with the company for several years. And part of that is because we want to make sure that the company, at the head of each hotel, you have it's the culture bearer for the company, for that hotel. And so I would think at this stage, every general manager in the company has been a Four Seasons employee before becoming a Four Seasons general manager. So I love that. I also love the fact that it's still a small enough company that you really truly get to know your colleagues. You get to know the senior players in the operation. We're getting bigger and bigger. It's 99 hotels now. But more than anything else, it's been the culture of the company that's really made me stay, and the value that they've allowed me to add, and the value that they've recognized in what I've brought to the table. And their commitment to seeing other minorities and other females grow into senior roles in the company as well. When I was going through my journey and getting to this place, I wasn't thinking about it as being a first. I was thinking about it as being my best. You know, being someone who was credible in the role, who had earned the right to have an opinion and to speak it, to be a leader that people respected and followed, and to add value to whatever operation that I joined. When I got promoted and the announcement went out, not only within the company, but then to the Virgin Islands, the response was overwhelming and incredibly gratifying. Definitely a bit surprising on my end. I had people from the Middle East to the Virgin Islands to the United States reaching out to me. I've had more phone calls from people that I didn't know but just wanted me to be a sounding board. I've had mentors who I've known and worked with for years who've reached out, and I've had mentees who I've certainly been guiding and coaching who've also reached out to me. And so it's been incredibly rewarding to be able to show that hard work pays off. But it does take that. It does take passion and drive, and it does say to those individuals that you can do it. You just got to figure out your path, and it doesn't have to be the same path I took, but you need to know the work is going to be needed regardless. And in order for people to believe that you have something to offer them and you have something to bring to the business, you've got to have the experience to back that up. And so I'm thrilled that I'm able to be a role model. I'm thrilled that I'm able to be the first female African-American general manager for 4 seasons, and who happens to be a West Indian, who happens to be from the Virgin Islands. I'm thrilled about all of that. And if it makes someone else who used to sit in my shoe back when I was a little girl in the Virgin Islands say, I can be that, then yeah, that's great, because it's absolutely true. You can be that too. I am so proud to be a Virgin Islander. I am so proud to be an ambassador. I'm so proud that I could take that growing and learning that I had as a child in the Virgin Islands and translate it into who I am as an adult and say, this is absolutely possible for so many, but it's also everything that I needed to be successful in what I do today. I think it's one of the best pairings that I could possibly think of, having that West Indian background and growing up in the Virgin Islands, and then still being able to be a general manager at one of the most elite hotels here in the city of Atlanta. So it's fantastic. I'm loving every moment of it, and quite honestly, all the hard work and sacrifices absolutely were worth it.